Good day, everyone. I hope you people can hear me. Just make me confirm, then we will start.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Thank you. Just to avoid some background noises or any other queries, I will be muting all of you on temporary basis. Once this orientation is complete, then we will be allowed to participate, to interact with one another. So if you have any questions, so please hold down or you can send me in chat box. Once this orientation is completed, then I will answer all of your queries. Thank you. First of all, I welcome all of you to join SBR Strategic Business Reporting Orientation, and that is specifically for September 2026 session, basically. So that is basically going out to be our orientation session. In this session, we will talk about a lot of points. What is SBR? Why we study SBR? What is its significance? And many other things. So let's start. First of all, let's talk about what are the contents of our today's orientation. First of all, we will be talking about what is SBR. SBR means strategic business reporting. What do you mean by strategic business reporting? And how this strategic business reporting is different from FR, which is financial reporting, or which was previously named as F7, basically. So what are differences? Because many people think both of them are reporting exam, so more or less they have same structure. No, there are a lot of differences, and we will talk about those differences just in few minutes. After this, we will talk about SBR syllabus. What is the syllabus of SBR? Basically, what you have to study to make sure you are successful in this examination. Once syllabus is done, then we will talk about exam structure. What would be the structure of exam? How many marks are there? How many questions would be there? How much time will be allocated? And so on. Then we will talk about pass rates. What is the pass rate of this exam? Either it is below 40% or 50% or 30%. How many students you are expected to make sure that they are going to pass out? And we will discuss why the pass rate is not very high. Or we will also discuss how we have to study just to make sure we can increase the pass rates, basically. Then we will talk about EPSM. What is EPSM? And SBR, what is the relationship of EPSM? Either you need to pass out EPSM before or after the SBR. We will discuss it too. Then we will talk about some common reasons why students fail in SBR. Once we will talk about the passing rates, and then we will discuss the students who are not going to pass out this exam, then what are the common reasons of failure. Later on, we are going to talk about what are the shortcomings of students and how we can cope up, how we fulfill those shortcomings, and how we are going to study. Second last, we will talk about tutors feedback. Tutors feedback mean how I am going to assess your assignments, your past papers, your different examination, and how I am going to provide you written feedback and not only the oral feedback. And last but not the least, there will be a question and answer session. If you have any query, then you can send me in chat box, or once this orientation is complete, then I will be taking up questions of all of you and we can interact live with one another. So till then, please wait. I will really appreciate. Before we start with our SBR, I will just take a minute or two just to discuss about what we are going to offer apart from SBR, what is our portfolio, what are our services, and what we are going to offer to all of our general public. We are offering multiple certifications and qualifications starting with ACCA. We also have ACCA, ICAEW. We also go for FIA, Foundation in Accountancy. Along with that, we also offer US-based certifications and qualification, just like CMA USA, CFA USA, another USA certification. And lastly, we are also offering OBU mentoring basically, and that would be the last attempt in November 2026. And that is going out to be the last attempt. And that is for retake students only. This is basically about our certification. Apart from that, we are also offering trainings in multiple sections, in multiple modules, and you can see it on your screen, just like financial modeling, certified financial planning and analysis, Power BI for finance professionals, internal audit trainings, financial planning using gap analysis, US gap, and last but not the least, public finance accounting trainings as well, basically. We have a team, we have a couple of experienced professionals, accounting and finance professionals who have more than a decade of experience, and they do offer multiple programs, multiple trainings as well. If I briefly talk about Tutor's profile, basically, let's have a very quick overview. I am Noman Liaqat, your tutor for SBR course. By profession, I am a chartered accountant, ICAEW member since 2017. So I will be FCA in 2027. I hope so. I am also a fellow member of ACCA since 2021, associate member of Pakistan Institute of Public Finance Accountants since 2019, member of Business Finance Professional Certification, registered mentor at Oxford Brookes University, more than 15 plus years of teaching experience and more than 13 plus years of industry experience as well. Last slide. I am also a senior tutor, head of academics and operation at NL Professional Academy, which is my program, and where we do offer multiple certifications, qualifications, and trainings from more than 1 decade. I am also a tutor at numerous online forums and approved learning partners of different qualifications. I am also a visiting faculty member at one of the renowned universities in United Arab Emirates, UAE. Apart from that, I am also a founder and managing director at Noman Liaqat Chartered Accountants, Tax Consultants, and Business Advisors, which is basically ICAEW registered firm in London, United Kingdom. And lastly, I am also a co-founder and partner at Roots Global Chartered Accountants, Tax Consultants, and Business Advisors, which is basically a registered firm in United Arab Emirates. Thank you for listening. So the entire purpose of this introduction was just to make sure that you would be in safe hand. We have couple of years of experience, so you should not be worried about. Thank you. Now let's start. What is SBR basically? What is strategic business reporting? What you have to study and how you have to study. First of all, if we talk about SBR, as we know, that is strategic business reporting. So what we have to do, that talks about strategic business reporting. It means we have to consider the strategic level. And whenever we will talk about the strategic level, or what is also a top level, so it means we have to consider the implication for wider stakeholder. Wider stakeholders mean large number of stakeholders as well. It means we will not be talking about just 1, 2, or 3 classes of stakeholder. Here we will be considering multiple stakeholders as well, basically. So you have to be very, very careful. SBR examination basically develops our professional judgment skill, because in this examination, practically we have to apply our IAS, International Accounting Standards, and IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, to our real world scenarios, basically. Scenarios which are expected in our common life. For example, if we are working as an advisor or a senior accountant or a finance manager or a financial controller, so what we have to do, how we have to apply IAS and IFRS basically. Once we know how to apply the professional judgment, then basically it enhances our multiple skills. For example, professional communication. We know how we have to communicate formally, how we need to write something, how we have to answer, how we have to apply our IAS and IFRS skills basically. And that is also for our complex business scenarios in a well-structured manner as well. Along with that, SBR basically focuses on your analysis and evaluation skill basically, rather than your memorization. And that is one of the limitations of students as well. Because they think what they have to do, they have to memorize IES and IFRS just like other exams or basic exam, and then they can pass out this examination. No, it is very rarely that, in fact, it looks like impossible you are going to pass out this exam without analysis and evaluation. So you should not just focus on memorization. You should think about how you have to apply relevant standard, how you have to explain them. Basically, SBR is preparing you for your future as a finance leader, for your senior roles in accounting, finance, reporting, and advisory, to mention only a few. In fact, I am stressing again, SBR is not basically about memorization, not just about remembering standard. It is basically about understanding application and justifying your accounting treatment. You need to mention why I am applying. You need to mention why I am applying this. Then you need to mention how I am applying this. What is the reason? What is the logic behind that? This is basically about our SBR strategic business reporting as well. Because as I mentioned earlier, many people are confused or they think FR is same exam as we have SBR. So they think like FR is, we have studied the FR. So SBR is more or likely the same examination of FR. No, there are a lot of differences between FR and SBR. I have prepared some of the key differences between them. First of all, let's talk about the difficulty level. What is the difficulty level of FR, which is F7, financial reporting, and SBR? First of all, talking about difficulty level, there is a huge amount of difference between understanding and application of accounting standards, basically. Huge amount of difference. At FR level, you need just basic to moderate knowledge. Basic to moderate level of knowledge you just need. But when we talk about SBR, in SBR, you talk about analysis, how you have to analyze a particular situation, how you have to evaluate them, how you have to exercise your professional judgment, how you have to apply your professional skepticism, basically. Which is professional skepticism? That is basically questioning attitude, questioning mind. If something is changing, how it is changing? What are the reasons? What are the factors? What are the elements behind that change? Then talking about the exam approach. Yes, exam approach is entirely different. Why? Because in F7, normally we talk about calculation-driven questions, basically. Calculation-driven. There are theoretical areas too, but most of the areas talk about calculation, where you have to talk about figures. How you will arrive at a particular figure or figures. But in SBR, situation is discussion based. You have to justify something. You need to act as an advisor. And as an advisor, you have to talk about recommendation. You need to propose some solutions basically. So here you need to propose some solutions of particular problems basically. Next, question style. What is the style of question? In FR, the questions are relatively shorter, structured question basically. Here you have multiple types of question. But in SBR, we have complex business situation, business scenarios, which talk about deeper analysis. And here you have to write your answer in a comprehensive manner basically. So here you have to write in a detailed fashion, not just short answers. How marks are going to be awarded? In FR, your marks will be awarded for correct technical treatment and calculation. But in SBR, your marks will be for your professional judgment, your analysis, commercial acumen, communication, and application basically. Last point, which is again one of the most important things, which is the mindset required. Yes, this is where you have to focus again and again. In FR, you think about just like a student, because probably you are studying the very first examination of your reporting side. So examiner treats you just like a student. But when you talk about SPR, then what does that mean? Either you have passed out the FR, or the second possibility is you have some sort of exemption. If you have passed out the FR exam, then it's good, really good. Even if you have some exemption in FR, you should not be worried about, because it means you were enough qualified. You were having some sort of relevant professional qualification or certification. That's why ACCA awarded you exemption for FR. Otherwise, you would not be allowed. So either you have passed this FR examination or you were exempted from FR. You should not be worried about, because at this point, you have sufficient amount of knowledge for FR. That's why either you have passed or you got the exemption. So you should not be worried about. And you would be treated as just like a new student in your SBR examination, basically. And in SBR, what you have to do? You have to develop your mindset as the professional accountant, as a business advisor, basically, as a senior position, while you are working in a senior position of any organization. Either you are working in industry, you are working in an accounting or auditing firm or advisory firm, it doesn't matter. You are working at a senior position. So on this slide, at this point, I highlighted some of the key differences between FR and SPR. This was just one slide to make sure what are the differences between FR and SPR. Now let's move again and let's start our discussion for SPR. Initially, we talked about SPR, then comparison of FR and SBR. Now let's talk about SBR syllabus, as we have this orientation specifically for our SBR examination, basically. In SBR, you will see a lot of things, a lot of points, basically. And you have to study what? You have to study a lot of IAS, International Accounting Standards, and IFRS, which are International Financial Reporting Standards, basically. So couple of standards you would be studying as a part of IAS and as a part of IFRS. Another point is that why we have some overlapping circle, because things are going to be overlapped. You have to study both of them. Points are going to be discussed, just like for consolidation. For consolidation, for example, we have IAS 27, we have IAS 28. Similarly, for IFRS, we have IFRS 3, we have IFRS 10, we have IFRS 11, we have IFRS 12, and many other things which are going to be overlapped. So we will be studying both IAS and IFRS, and what is going to be the impact and how you have to recognize, how you have to treat multiple points, basically. If we talk about the section, there are a couple of sections, basically. starting from section A to section F, basically. In section A, first of all, we will be talking about ethical and professional principle. Ethical and professional principles mean what are ethics? What are ethics? Ethics are basically ways of doing. So here we will be talking about ethics and code of ethics, basically. Here, one of the most common mistake of students is that they think this section is related to ethics only. No, the word is basically and. Whenever the word is and, it means your point, your requirement, your statement has been divided into two portions. One is before and second is after and. So please also focus on professional principle. Professional principles mean professional considerations as well. Professional principles mean professional consideration. Practical points, basically, which you have to consider. So here you will be talking about business trust. Business trust issues. This is what you have to remember. So do not just focus on code of ethics. Instead, you should talk about practical issues, practical consideration, which are business trust issues as well. In section B, we will be talking about financial reporting framework. What is reporting framework basically? What are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? Or you can say what are benefits or limitations of this reporting framework. In section C, we will be studying couple of standards, which is basically about reporting financial performance. For example, we will be talking about non-current assets, leases, IFRS 15, IFRS 8, and many other standards basically. In section D, we will be talking about financial statements of group of entities. Group of entities mean consolidation. Either you will be talking about some acquisition scenarios, or you will be talking about some disposal scenarios, or it could involve combination of both of them. For example, in one question, it is quite possible you have acquired a subsidiary in second month of your financial year. But assume that you have disposed of that subsidiary 6 months after. So in a same year, you are acquiring a subsidiary, but after 6 months, you are disposing of major interest in your subsidiary. So how you have to treat this in your financial statement, we will discuss once we are going to discuss this consolidation section. In section E, we will be talking about interpretation of financial information. Interpretation means interpret. We have to assess, we have to discuss about financial information, financial performance, basically, how your entity has performed. That is related to your performance. And whenever we talk about performance, so mostly people think we have to discuss about ratios only. No, you should talk about ratios. Apart from ratios, you should also talk about non-financial indicators as well. Non-financial factors too. What are the factors? Here you also need to think about KPIs, CSF as well. To some extent, you also need to discuss about KPIs and CSF as well. What are the major factors of performance basically? You should not consider the internal factor, but you should also assume some external factors as well basically. Section F, which talks about impact of changes and potential changes in accounting regulation basically. So that basically talks about your current issues. The word is basically changes and potential changes, which are potential, which has not been implied, but they might be implied as well. So what do you think? What issues, what points are going out to be? So these are part of your current issues. And section G, What is section G? That is basically employability and technology skills. So you need to be familiar with the latest technology, with your latest technology. Just like as you are appearing in CV exam, computer-based examination, so you would be working out on a computer instead of old or traditional scheme where you were allowed a paper and then you were writing something. No, this was the old thing. But now, as we have a requirement of employers, we have a requirement of our modern world. So every work, everything is done on computer instead of old papers, basically. So that's why this is basically your employability and technology skill, which is related to your ACCA examination software and some basic skills of just like your spreadsheet and so on. We will be planning out our session on this software, basically how you will be appearing, what will be your software, how you can read out, how you can write the answer of a particular question or questions, basically. So these are basically some our syllabus points of your entire SBR. After the syllabus, it's time to discuss about the exam structure. What would be the exam pattern, basically? How many questions, how many sections we can expect in this exam? If I talk about the overall structure, total we have 100 marks for SPR. Out of 100, we have passing marks of 50. So it means 50% is going to be your pass mark. But you should not consider 50. You should consider higher marks. You should aim for higher marks, basically. Because if you think I have a margin of 50%, it means I can make 50% mistakes. No, you should not think about. You should think about, I should aim for higher marks. I should aim for distinction at global level, at national level, securing some very good marks as well. Talking about the time, we have 3 hours and 15 minutes of time. And when we talk about 3 hours and 15 minutes, then most of the students think we have to complete the examination within this time frame. No, you should save your time. You should save your time. I will tell you about the planning sheets, how you have to plan your exam, how you have to plan out your questions, basically, how much time you need to spend on your entire exam, how much time you need to spend on a particular question, on a particular requirement and sub requirement as well, basically, how you have to plan out things. We will also discuss, let's suppose, unfortunately, very unfortunately, if due to any reason, if you are overrunning with a particular question, then what you need to do. All of this is basically part of our exam technique session. Once our preparation would be completed or in the mid of the way, then we will be talking about these exam techniques of time shortage. Regarding other techniques, we will be talking about as we are progressing for our session, basically. And these will be discussed in our entire session, which is the complete course of our SPR. Last but not the least, that is basically closed book exam. Closed book exam means we are not allowed to carry our notes, our IAS, IFRS book or any other thing, just like some other professional qualifications and certifications offer the open book exam. So that is basically going out to be a closed examination. You would not be allowed to carry out anything. Our SBR exam has been divided into 2 sections. First of all, we have section A and second, we have section B as well. In section A, what we have in section A, we have 2 compulsory questions. Question 1 and question 2. If I talk about the breakup, question 1 is for 30 marks and question 2 is basically for 20 marks as well. So you can say that section 1 will be for 50 marks and section B, which will also be for your 50 marks as well. In section A, we have question 1 and question 2. Question 1 is for 30 marks and question 2 is for 20 marks as well. What would be examined in question 1? In question 1, you would be given a pre-populated sheet. Pre-populated sheet means there will be some sort of format. There would be something and where you have to analyze, where you have to assess, and where you have to adjust something, where you have to make some adjustments. And this adjustment question will belong to your consolidation. So in consolidation section, that is compulsory. So you can say that consolidation is going to be a must area for your examination. Apart from consolidation, there could be any area. Any area mean any standard. So whenever I am going to say that any area mean it could involve your any IAS or IFRS or combination of both of them. Or it could also involve your current issues. In question 2, ethics are going to form the compulsory part. So that for sure, ethics question, ethics section would be there and you need to answer not only the ethics as well as your professional issues as well. Along with ethics, you can also go with any area, any question. Any area mean, as I discussed, any part, IAS, IFRS, current issues, so anything could be here. Any thing could be tested here. In section B, again, we have the same structure. There will be two compulsory questions named as question 3 and question 4. But the distribution is marks is a little bit different. In section A, we were having 30 marks for question A and 20 marks for question 2. But in section B, we have 25 marks for question 3 and 25 marks for question 4. So that makes up 25 plus 25. That gives us 50 marks. So approximately the equal distribution of marks, you can assume that in question 3 and question 4. And both of these questions, question 3 and question 4, could relate to any syllabus area. There is nothing defined. Like you cannot say a particular standard or standards would be there. No, it is just defined for consolidation. Rest of the syllabus, rest of the question or sub question could be part of any standard, any syllabus area as well. We also have 4 professional marks and how these marks would be distributed. There are 2 marks for each section. It means section A will contain 2 marks and section B will also contain 2 marks as well, basically. And how you can get up these professional marks, we will discuss it later on. What are the techniques, what are professional skills, and how you have to apply your professional skills when you are writing the solution of your examination, basically. This is not something new. Like this is not a new topic of related to IAS, IFRS, current issues, ethical issues. No, this is basically about your skill, how you have to write your answer, how you have to produce a professional report, basically. If I talk about the passing rate, the passing structure, basically, so approximately on average, how many students are passed in our SBR exam, basically. If we talk about global pass rate, here we have pass rates of last 4 terms. In March 2026, the pass rate was basically 50%, which was among the highest. If I talk about December 2025, which was 48%, and same passing rate of 48% was also observed in September 2025 as well. In June 2025, it was 49% as well. So roughly you can assume that approximately 48% to 50% is basically your passing rate. We have a very good examination. We have some good basics, but why this is passing rate? Why? What do you think? What is the reason behind this passing rate as well? I will discuss it in a minute. Why we have a low passing rate, why we have low global passing rate, basically, because these are global pass rates. Before we talk about the pass rates in detail, there is another important thing that is basically about EPSM. EPSM is basically what? EPSM is basically your ethics module. EPSM is basically your ethics and professional skills module, which is EPSM. Ethics and professional skills module, which is an essential part of your ACCA qualification. Once you qualify all of your exam, then you cannot become a member until or unless you pass out this module, basically. So you can think about the significance of this module. This module also aids you to enhance your employability and workplace effectiveness. What it does involve? It involves realistic business simulation, business scenarios to develop your professional skills, just like leadership, communication, commercial awareness. So a sort of case study would be given to you, and then you have to apply your knowledge, how you can solve it out. For this, students are advised to complete the EPSM before attempting any of the strategic professional exam. Either you are appearing in SPR, SBL, or any other examination along with these. So you are advised to complete this module before attempting any of the examination. It is not saying you cannot appear. No, it is just advice. Advice means this is my suggestion. You have to proceed. Even if you do not attempt before attempting the SBR or SBL, it's entirely up to you. But if you attempt this EPSM, it will help you a lot. It will enhance your skills as well. That's why ACCA suggests to complete EPSM. And as a tutor, as a tuition provider, we also suggest you to complete the EPSM before appearing in any of the examination of strategic level. Still, you people have a couple of time because it's June, third week of June, and you have examination in first week of September. So you have more than 2 months and 1 week, and you can complete this module quite easily. Now let's talk about why students fail, because we were talking about the passing rates, which were averaging from 48% to 50%. So what are the reasons why students are going to fail this examination? This is going out to be a very good exam. There are some reasons, and I have summarized these reasons based upon my experience of more than a decade. First of all, that is basically lack of technical knowledge. Lack of technical knowledge means you do not know about complex situations. Or you can talk about the standards. For example, IFRS 15, which is basically about related to revenue, which is basically a 5-step model. Then we have IFRS 16, that is basically about leases. There are some changes. So what was IS 17? What is IFRS 16? What are differences? If there was IS 17, then why we have IFRS 16? Similarly, before IFRS 15, we were having IS 11, construction contracts, and IS 18, revenue recognition. So when there were these two standards, why both of them were demolished and why both of them have been merged into IFRS 15? Why? Again, you can talk about financial instruments, basically. In financial instruments, we have complex points. We have standards, we have points about its recognition and measurement. Recognition and measurement, basically. Here we have points about disclosure. How you have to disclose them. Here you talk about different types of models. Apart from this, we also have consolidation. We also have IFRS rule, that is share-based payments. We also have IAS 19 employee benefit. Along with consolidation, we also have IAS 21 foreign currency. And there are many other points too. So students lack that technical knowledge, or another reason is they are unable to retain technical areas, inability to retain the technical area. They have studied some standard, but for the time being, they remember, but later on they forget. Why? Because they go for memorization. They do not talk about concepts. So please focus on areas where you have to talk about. You need to retain technical area. Why you need to retain? That is basically a closed book exam. You would not be allowed to open your slides, your notes, your study material, your past paper of you or any of your tutor or tuition provider. No, you are not allowed. So what you need to do, you need to focus how you can retain your knowledge basically. And here we are going to tell you how you have to retain. For this, we will propose you something at the end of this orientation. So please stay tuned. Another point is basically poor demonstration of skills. On previous slides, we have talked about multiple skills like professional judgment, communication, professional skepticism, good report writing. So if you demonstrate poor skills, poor analysis, poor evaluation, pathetic discussion, you might not be rewarded enough to make sure you have qualified the SBR. Sorry to say that. Considering strategic level exams, same as compared to other exam as well. Just like your basic skills exam or fundamental level exam or applied exam. No, this is not. Every level, every skill has its own structure. We are not degrading any exam or any structure. Why? Because let's suppose if you are going to compare the very basic stage, which is FIA, Foundation in Accountancy, to your SBR examination, you cannot compare. You cannot compare. FIA is the very basic level. It's on structure, on difficulty level, and SBR has on structure, on level as well. So please do not consider that these are the same. Just like as I mentioned, FR is not same as compared to SBR. Another point of discussion is basically weak writing expression. Even if you know something, even if you know everything, if your writing expression is not fine, this is not going to help you out. You need to make sure that you produce some clear answers. Examiners do not have sufficient amount of time to read again and again. Another point is no feedback from a tutor. Why? What is this point? What students do? Student, for example, we have a student A, and student A looks at consolidation question. Let's suppose. Okay, I can solve this. Student, no, I can solve this. What student is going to do? Student will calculate some figures. And then he or she will turn on answer of examination. And you know that, oh, this is the solution. This is what I was thinking. So I'm on the right track. I have solved the question. No, this approach might not work out. This approach might not work out. So please, what you need to do, you need to make sure that you write answers. And you also get the feedback from a tutor as well, from an experienced tutor. What you need to do, what you need to write, what you need to avoid. Because we have a time constraint. You have just 3 hours and 15 minutes. Even less amount of time, because you need to complete the exam, you need to revisit each and everything. Another point is basically a very common reason is trying to get the perfect answer. Yes, this is another reason, because you think assets are equal to liabilities plus equity, and I need to make sure that this has happened. Let me tell you one thing. Let's suppose if there are 5 adjustments, and if you perform just 4 out of 5, so what has done? It is quite possible your SOFP would be equal. Your assets would be equal to liabilities plus equity, but you have missed out one adjustment. So examiner is not going to reward you for your perfect answer basically. So please, whatever point you have, you need to write it down and do not wait for a perfect answer, because perfect answer mean you will spend too much amount of time. You would be quite possible you will be very poor. It is quite possible. It means you are consuming the time of another question. That is injustice with another question as well. So do not trap into this philosophy of many other people. I have to get the perfect answer, otherwise I would be failed. No, you should not go for that. So there was a lot of things, lot of worries, lot of concern. Now the point is what you should do, how you have to study, and how we are going to study our SBR over next 2 months. We believe in 3 points. First of all, you have to study. You need to remember. You need to revise, first of all, your basic stuff. You need to revise your basic knowledge, basically. After this, you need to move on your advanced knowledge. Advanced knowledge, technical standard. Then we will be talking about the practice. And many people think, first of all, they have to complete the syllabus and then they will move to practice. No. First of all, first cover some topics and then move to practice side. We will not be waiting for completion of our syllabus. Even our entire syllabus is recorded, but we also offer a couple of live sessions even just in 1 week. We will also discuss how we are going to study our SBR. First of all, study, then we will be going for practice, and then the third thing is basically the feedback. And these 3 things are essential just to make sure you pass out your exam with some good marks as well. Because feedback is very important. As I mentioned, what is right, what is wrong, and how you have to improve this. How we are going to support you? We will offer live online sessions as well. We also offer recorded session, group session. Group session mean you can study within a group, within a class. We also offer one-to-one sessions as well, just like we can study one-to-one. For example, if you are not good with any topic, any particular topic, so we can discuss your requirement. If you think you need to talk about some exam technique or some particular topic or particular area, we can go for that. So we have couple of options. We facilitate you in a best possible manner. Apart from this, we go for live online and recorded session. It's not just about recorded. For example, I have provided you the recordings for SBR or any other exam. No, we go for recorded session. Along with that, we go for live session. Multiple live sessions would be there. What would be the purpose? These are not just live. In fact, these are interactive sessions as well, where you would be just like you would be speaking. I would be asking the question. You would be solving the assignment, some questions, some quizzes, and you will be sharing your screen with me directly live in a class as well. So I will be reviewing your answer as a part of assignment, as a part of class-based assignment, and some assignments would be as a part of home base. So you would be submitting your assignments to me. I would be reviewing them, and then I would be providing you the evaluation. and feedback on your assignments as well. Because some people think at the end of examination, at the end of syllabus, they will go for some mock exam or a past paper, and then they will get the feedback. Okay, this is fine. But another important thing is you should also get the feedback on topic by topic. For example, on a particular question. So why you are waiting for completion of your syllabus? Along with that, we will provide you comprehensive notes for your entire SBR basically. So you can just study those slides, those notes, and your syllabus would be completed. We will also help you with exam practice software, how you have to appear in exam basically. What would be your software? So for exam practice software, we will be planning our separate session. A separate session would be planned out here. We will be discussing the question bank and past paper practice questions as well. We will be using the latest study material, and we will be focusing on past papers and feedback. So feedback would be on assignments as well as on your complete past papers as well, basically. If we talk about how I'm going to provide you the feedback, let's have a look on our tutor's feedback, basically. That is basically a question. That is basically the answer of one of my students, basically, on which I provide the feedback. Just like that is basically a question of consolidation and seen. That is basically some structural issues seen when the control is achieved. So when the control is achieved, it means you have a subsidiary. More likely that would be a subsidiary. So there must be some date, some specific date. So why you have not mentioned the date? This is something not good. It means you are just talking about knowledge. You are not sure when you acquired your subsidiary, when you purchase more than 50% of the holding, and that became your subsidiary. Why you are not mentioning the date? That is your technical mistake. Here we have some spelling issues. You are talking about some figures, some generic reason, not some specific figures. Why? Here you are talking about increase in fair value. If you know there is an increase in fair value, you must mention, you must state the figure, how much. Because if you are unable to calculate, it means you are poor. You lack the technical stuff, basically. If we have intragroup loan, then you need to mention why you are not mentioning the intragroup loan, why you are not mentioning the treatment of intragroup loan, basically. Where is the treatment of intragroup loan? So in this way, I am going to provide you the feedback on your assignments as well as on your entire papers as well, basically. Thank you for listening. That was all from my side. Here we have some contact details and you can contact us. We have 2 contact details. You can contact us. You can send us an email. You can connect us on your Facebook, and same thing is also available on our LinkedIn page as well. And last but not the least, for your live session, these would be conducted on Zoom, and for your recordings would be provided on LMS, that is basically the learning management system. That is all about our SBR orientation. Just give me a minute. I will share a sample of our notes or slides, how we are going to work it out here. Here we have our slides, just like sharing some sample intangible assets, IS 38. So what you need to cover: introduction, definition, scope, what is copyright, what is patent, what is trademark, what are differences between trademark and brand, what do you know about trademark and what is registered, what is recognition criteria, how you can measure, how you can recognize initially, and what about subsequent recognition, impairment, amortization, R&D cost, stakeholders perspective, disclosures, comparison table. What do you know about Coca-Cola? Either it is a brand or a trademark. What about McDonald's? What is I am loving it? That is basically a slogan of McDonald's. Curved glass bottles. These are the bottles. These are the symbols of Coca-Cola. How you are going to recognize them basically. Either that is a brand or that is a trademark. Most of the people use the Coca-Cola. One of the most widely used drink is Coca-Cola. So what do you know about curved glass bottle? Have you ever observed that? Either it is a brand or it's a trademark. Let's talk about provision, contingent liabilities, and contingent asset. What is provision? Everyone talks about provision is basically a liability we need to record. No. What is the basic definition or concept of provision? How we have to record? What is the criteria? What is the measurement? That is the difference between measurement and recognition. Let's talk about IFRS 2, share-based payments. How we have to record, how it will be applied. So we will be sharing all of these slides, all of these points with you people who are going to register with our course. Thank you for listening. Here we have contact information and thank you. Now we have completed our orientation. If there will be any question, any point or any query, all of you would be unmuted and would be allowed to discuss your queries or points. Thank you. Now, please, you can ask your questions.
Okay, Noman sir. With respect to exam material, as you mentioned, you will provide us notes. So these notes will be sufficient for exams. No need to take or buy extra study material.
Yes, I think there's a very valid question. The notes or slides which we will be providing you, that would be enough. Along with that, I will be providing you some additional practice material because practice is going to be key. So I will provide you the additional practice material along with my notes, slides. That would be enough. And you do
Okay,
not need to
thank you.
purchase anything.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. There's another question. When we are going to start our session, our regular session is going to start from 28th of June. And we will be offering multiple live sessions in a week. Just to assess your assignments, your feedback, taking up your questions, your queries, we will be having multiple live sessions in a week as well. And regarding the schedule, that will be mutually agreed with students. Because entire syllabus is recorded, but why we are going for interactive session? Just to interact, just to learn about you people, how you are writing something and how you have to enhance, how you have to improve your structure basically. That's why we will be planning out multiple live sessions till our exam.
Thank you.
Any other question or queries or point? Otherwise, we are going to close.
No, it's enough. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Have a good day. See you soon. Bye.